Artifact, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Cool. All right, so I just made you host, so you should be good to go.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
I see you in your Nesby suit.
Hey.
You fly. There you go. That's what's
Hey.
up.
I just hope people come.
Huh?
I'm just hoping people come. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay for a little bit just to see what's going on. Show support, show some love. I just finished up the workshop, so that's why I was running kind of late.
How are your classes going?
It's going pretty good. I kind of like being able to set my own schedule,
Good.
so it's nice.
I hate online school. I feel like I'm just like falling behind at everything. Like everything's just so much. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes a learning curve once you're an officer for the first time.
No, it's not even being. It's not being an officer. It's just like the whole process of online school. It's just I'm not used to it. I don't like it. The professors are giving me too much homework.
Yeah, I feel you.
Quick question. How, so I got someone to present something on their screen. How do I give them access to that?
You can make them co-host. So like if you click on the three dots at the top of my name, you can click it and then you should be able to see like an option. Or if you go to participants and then if you click on
I can make co-hosts.
yeah, you can do it like that. And then they should be able to share their screen when they're co-hosts. Just don't make them host though.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you should be good to go. You excited?
I'm excited.
That's good. Oh, somebody's in already. Nice.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, Nesby family. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you all for being here. Excited. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Arafat.
Good.
Good.
Thank you all for being here. I'm so excited.
Hi, Ayo. Good to see you.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you too.
Okay.
Good evening. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Anderson.
Hey, Arafat, hey, Rami.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Nothing much.
What's up, Cynthia?
Cynthia, how are you?
I don't think she can hear us.
Here.
What's up, Cynthia?
Cynthia.
You're muted.
Hello? Oh.
What's up?
Hey, Tarami, how are you?
Doing good. Doing good.
I like the dreads. Wait, are these dreads or twists? Dreads, right?
No, they're locks.
They're locked. Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Hi, Arafat. Hi, Ayo. Hi, Watana. Hi, Anderson. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Amina. How are you? Hi, Rosa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Cynthia.
So happy everyone's here. We just have to wait for the. Well, how's everybody doing? Oh,
I'm good, and you?
I'm good.
I'm
Doing
doing
great.
So it's 7. We're just gonna wait like 5 or 6 minutes to see if more people join the meeting before we start. Thank you. But yeah, is everybody excited for Career Fair on Thursday?
Of course we are. I mean, I am.
I mean, I am too, but it's like, what's the format, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I get that. Everything's gonna change. I hope
It'll
it
be
goes well.
exciting if we actually land an internship.
That's a good point.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hello, Elder.
Oh,
Hello.
Iraudina. Cynthia. Who else is here? Arafat. Okay, nice to see you.
What's up, Elder?
I heard a voice.
What's up, Elder?
Help me. I know this voice.
Tarami.
Tarami. What's up, Tarami? How you doing, bro? Long time. Oh, here you are.
Okay, so we're gonna start now. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we're about to start. Thank you all for being here. My name is Arfa Ladipo. I am the historian chair for NESB, and I planned this event alongside Edmund Saleh. Edmund, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Edmund Asale. I am the Professional Development Chair for this year, and I'm also the International Student Committee Head for that year as well. Chemical engineering student. So that's me, Edmund Asale.
Yeah, we have a great event planned for y'all. I'm just really, really excited everybody's here. So before we start, we have to say the mission statement. So every time we have an event, we always say the mission statement. So the mission statement goes to increase the number of culturally
Responsible Black engineers
who excel academically,
academically, succeed professionally, positively impact the community.
And just before I forgot, if anybody hasn't signed in, this is the QR code to sign in. I will also be dropping the link in the chat. So yeah, so today we have an amazing group of panelists, people. Like, it blows my mind. They're the best of the best. They're game changers, and they just decided to grace us with their presence. I'm just really, really excited that they are here. So would our panelists like to introduce themselves?
Just in any order?
Give me 1 second. Yeah. Would anybody like to go first?
I can go first. Make sure I have the, okay. So hi everyone, I'm Cynthia Tonga. I did my undergraduate in chemical engineering at U of H, and I just completed my master's in statistics and data science. Throughout my time, I interned with Olin. It's a chemical manufacturing company in 2018, and then I just finished my internship with 3M as an R&D data scientist. I also served on the NSBE officer as a NSBE officer in 2018, 2019, finance chair and career fair chair assistant. So hopefully I can speak some words of wisdom, give you guys some advice from my experience, and yeah, that's me.
Who would like to go next?
I can go next. My name is Ayo Ogunye. I am a career counselor with University Career Services. Been with UH now for almost 6 years, but I've worked with international students for almost 20 years in different capacities. I'm also the liaison on campus for international students. I just have a passion for helping international students and helping them get the information they need. Having been down that road myself before and having worked with a lot of people, also knowing that the unique field of working with international students, and I say unique because it just changes by the minute. In the work that we do with students, every semester is different. Now we're in the middle of a pandemic. The game has changed. It's totally different. So I'm just here to share whatever information or wealth of information I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody want to go next?
I can go next. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Rosa. My name is Mohammed Isiaka. I served as a NSBE officer for 2 years, first as the historian and next as the senator. I majored in civil engineering from the University of Houston. I just graduated during this summer 2020, and now I'm working as a design engineer at Vogler and Spencer. I'm doing my undergraduate years. I had some internships which helped me to land my full-time job. So I'm hoping to give you guys some advice based on my experiences.
Thank you. Does anybody want to go next?
My name is Rosa Miralvina Fupi. I am a senior chemical engineering student here at the University of Houston. I've had 2 internships so far, one with Praxair, in which I was working as a process system and engineering intern. And the other one was with Albemarle Corporation, in which I worked as a chemical engineering R&D co-op student. Yeah, I look forward to share my experience and see if I can help.
Thank you, Rosa.
All right, guys, can go next. My name is Elder Mandingo, and I graduated in 2018 with a mechanical engineering degree. Was a NSBE honorary member, some people would say. And I did an internship as a design engineer for the company that I'm working for right now as a full-time design engineer. And I look forward to share some of the things that I learned along the way with you guys.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I think I can go next.
Yeah, you can.
So my name is Ricky. I'm a PhD student here at the University of Houston. I'm doing my PhD in petroleum engineering. I guess I probably have a very short history compared to everyone else. So I interned with Shell this summer as a reservoir engineering intern, and I'm looking forward to sharing every tip I can.
Thank you.
I can go. Okay. I guess like I said, I studied engineering, and I actually many internships. One was with Chevron quality engineering intern in Milan. That was interesting for me. Second one was at Bayesian, and second one I got investment company in Houston, and I did a upstream analysis. So something I like what you know what I mean.
I don't know if it's just me, but it was kind of breaking.
was kind of choppy. Okay, can you hear me now?
No. It's still, yeah, it's still wonky.
It's still foggy.
Okay, wait, it's getting better.
That's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Yes.
Okay, so it's all good now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just take it from the top. So my name is Tolu. Like I said, I graduated May 2020 from University of Houston, and I studied mechanical engineering. And I did 2 major internships. One was a General Motors as a quality engineering intern at the plant. I didn't really enjoy that. Second one was with a company called Bayesian in Houston, and they did like upstream investments in and out of like the Permian Basin within the Texas area. And then now I currently work as a business analyst for Capital One. So I definitely understand like the struggles of like job search as an international student, and I hope that I can give some tips or insights on how I went about my own job search.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Bise. I graduated with my master's from UH in 2018. When I was there, I was a graduate assistant, and I had an internship in talent acquisition and recruiting. And now I currently work as a technical training analyst at Occidental Petroleum. And I definitely understand all the struggles, all the trials and tribulations when it comes to job searching as an international student. So I'm happy to help any way I can.
Thank you. I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody. So yeah, before, thank you to all our panelists. As I told y'all, we have an amazing set of panelists for y'all today. So before we go into discussions and just questions, so Deep Career Services, they have a lot of resources on campus for students, even international students as well. And we have Ayo, and she's gonna tell us more about what the UH Career Services has in store for students this semester.
All right, thank you. How much time do I have? Because I just want to make sure that I'm on track.
You have time. I'll tell you have enough time.
Okay. All right, again, like I said, my name is Ayo Ogunye. I work for University of Houston, the Career Services. So March 2020, we had a lot of programs set up for students, international students, and all of that. And then we had the first COVID positive person in Houston. And then it all started like a joke. And then before we knew it, spring break, here we are where we are today. A lot of things have happened in the space of March to now in the world of employment. We were given 2 days, maybe 3 days to go fully online. We had to take everything online because we had to leave the office. We thought it was going to be something for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but it ended up being to where we're still working from home now. We're probably going to be doing that till the end of the year. So I'm saying all that to say that there's been a big change in the world of work. And it's not just for international students. So what does it look like? Because I've started doing my research and I started looking at what is post-COVID going to look like? Because let's be honest, we're at the point right now where some people mentally, they've checked out of COVID, like COVID is gone, and they're just moving on like it's not there. Some people are still living in the fear of it. It's like, I can catch this thing and all that. And some people are just like, I'm tired. I don't even want to hear it. I don't listen to the news. I was one of those people that was in la la land when it started. I really was one of those people that thought by April, everything would just be over. And a lot of people, including my daughter, would tell me, you must not understand what a pandemic is. But I really did it. But so what does all that mean? All that translates to we cannot do things the way we used to do it before. And until we get to that realization, we're not going to be able to make any progress. So job search cannot be the way we used to do it before. Even working cannot be the way it used to be before. Programming cannot be the way it used to be before. So all the things that we normally would have done for international students in the fall, the spring semester, is going to look totally different. So the first thing that I said was, okay, what do we need to do right now because I'm getting a lot of phone calls, emails, internship offers were taken back, full-time jobs were pushed back for like a year. Some offers were taken back altogether, and that's just the truth. We're reaching out to employers and we're talking to employers, and employers are saying, we don't even know what's happening. Then we have, we hear in the news where they're saying, well, jobs need to be protected for Americans. So if you're not an American, you know, if there's any job opportunity available, it's going to go to Americans first. So all hell broke loose with that. Like, what is that going to look like? But I said all that to say that in the midst of it, I can tell you 10 international students right now that got an internship and got a full-time job in the midst of COVID, even after they graduated and they still did not have a job in place. So what does that mean? Job search cannot be the way it used to be. You have to change gears. You have to change gears. You have to do your research. You have to be 10 steps ahead now. If you were 5 steps ahead before, like we would tell international students, now you have to be 10 steps ahead. So last semester we had a town hall. I said, okay, let's have a town hall. And one of the people on the panel is Desire. She really was one of our panelists, and she did an awesome job. She really gave some really good advice to students. She shared her experience. She really did an awesome job. And we had an attorney. We had somebody from the ISSS office. It was really good for that town hall. And that town hall opened our eyes to many things. Now, one of the things that I was planning for next year, and it's still gonna happen, is to have the first ever mini international students conference on campus. Now, why? I talk to a lot of employers, but they don't know the value that international students bring. They just see sometimes international students as people who come to go to school here, and then once they go to school here, they're supposed to go back to their home country. They don't understand that if you invest your time and your finances here, you should get your ROI, meaning that you should at least get the work experience. You should be given a fair opportunity. So the whole idea of the mini international students conference is to have students present to employers so that employers can have that firsthand. You know how difficult it is sometimes to connect with employers. So now you have that firsthand opportunity to talk to employers, show employers what your value is. Present. It will be like a poster presentation. It will be like a conference, you know, proposal that you would write a proposal and do a presentation. So employers can see that, wow, we have a wealth of experience and value and skills that international students bring. So that's going to happen next semester. That's going to happen either at the end of spring semester or at the beginning of summer 2021. That's in the works already. I'm working on that. Now, the other thing is developing soft skills for international students. That's a workshop that we're going to have on the 21st of October. Why? Again, we did survey. We surveyed employers. What do you like to see from international students? Why do you have a hard time hiring international students? What will it take for you to at least consider an international student, either for an internship or for a job? And they began to say things like, well, we don't know about their communication skills. We don't know if they're a team player. We don't know if they have leadership skills. So we came up with this presentation, this workshop, developing soft skills, because honestly, soft skills is what's going to get you through to get you the job. The technical skills, you're all engineers. You all know the engineering stuff. I'm not a STEM person. I'm not engineering, so I'm not too vast on that. But if you're an engineer or if you're a STEM major, you know the stuff, you know the technical stuff. That's what you do in school. What they struggle with is the soft skills. STEM students sometimes don't show forth the soft skills. And when you go to an interview, that's what they're looking at. Are you going to be able to be a team player? Do you have leadership skills? What does your communication skills look like? Are you able to take initiative? Are you able to be creative? Or are you the type of person that will just wait for your supervisor or your employer to say, hey, this is a task, go do it? Or are you the type of person that once you go for an internship somewhere, you begin to look at the company, what the company does, you begin to look at their competitors and begin to bring ideas to your team? Are you the type of person that you jump in a team and you jump right in and you're able, so they begin to look at soft skills. The soft skills are key. The National Association of Colleges and Employers, they have a survey that they do every year. And every year they come up with 5 top skills that employers say they're looking for in candidates, whether you're an international student or not. So what that means is that as an international student, you have to develop those skills. One of it is being a team player. Another one is taking initiative. Another one is being creative. Another one is communication skills. So all those skills, you have to have it. You have to figure out a way to have it. One of the ways you can have it is by taking a role as an officer in an organization like NSBE or any professional organization. Another one might be to take a student membership in the professional association of your choice. So if you're an engineer or you have an electrical engineer, you can get a student membership from IEEE and volunteer when they have conferences and all these things. That's how you're going to develop the skills. That's how you're going to develop the networking skills, and that's how you're going to meet people. Then we have the virtual interviewing, because I tell you that is different. When it comes to virtual interview, it's just on a different level now. First of all, you don't know what platform the employer might be using. They may want you to record your questions and send it to them. They may have a Zoom situation going on where they have people from different places all over the United States. Trust me, a lot of people are not comfortable with what we're doing. You know, a lot of people are still not comfortable with either Zoom or Teams or the virtual thing. A lot of people still struggle with that. Now, what employers are telling us is that this is going to continue post-COVID. So after COVID is done, they're still going to continue to do interviews the way this is being done. After COVID is done, some jobs are still going to be remote at home. You're going to be working from home. I know so many companies now that they're now working from home, remote component into the job. So eventually, as you job search, you have to be ready for remote work. You have to be ready for hybrid. You have to be ready for in-person, which may be minimal. You have to be ready for a lot of screen time, a lot of virtual editing, virtual everything. And because it's virtual now, especially if you're working for a global company, which we always say for international students to try and look for a company that has a global representation, you may be working in different time zones. So it's totally different. So all that means that the way you package yourself and you market yourself to an employer has to be totally different. Now you have to market yourself. A lot of people do not know that you can take advantage of this COVID situation. What are some of the changes that you've had to do? What are some of the skills or even soft skills that you've had to develop as we transition from pre-COVID to in the pandemic, and then as we get ready for post-COVID? So what are we doing at the University Career Services? We're doing a lot of hands-on. You know, we're telling students that schedule an appointment, and if you don't have my email, I'll put it in the chat box. Just schedule an appointment to say, hey, this is what my plan is. This is what my long-term plan is. This is what my short-term plan is. We're reaching out to employers. We're actually acting as advocates for international students now. And say, because now, you see, the thing is, you have to take advantage of the pulse of the nation. Right now, diversity and inclusion is a big deal. So when you reach out to employers and you say, hey, I have a group of students, or I have students, or even if it's recruiters, and you say, this is a student that just take a look at their resume and see what they have to offer. A lot of companies now, I dare say about 90% of companies now have a diversity and inclusion quota for the company. So let's say ABC company never used to have a quota for diversity and inclusion. Now they have 20%. So that means that people like you, the jobs are there. I attended a conference last week. It was a Wall Street Journal conference, and they said there are tons of jobs out there, especially diversity and inclusive jobs. And I'm not trying to say that's the only thing you should look at, but take advantage of it. Take advantage of it, put yourself out there, market yourself. This is the time to reach out to people. Another thing that we're doing at University Career Services is if you schedule an appointment, we'll walk you through LinkedIn and we'll connect you with personal connections, although it's virtual, to people on LinkedIn, because a lot of people are on LinkedIn doing all their recruiting now. And then to finalize that, where the other thing we're doing is helping people identify those transferable skills so that they can put that out there and they can begin to market themselves out there. So in a nutshell, if you've never connected with our office, this is the time to connect with the office. If you've never thought that career services can help you, this is the time to reach out to our office because we're going out. Employers that we were not able to reach before, we're reaching them now. If you go to our website, you will see our fall 2020 virtual career fairs. There's a whole section there for workshops that are for international students. Last week, I co-presented a virtual career fair prep with an employer. She gave some really awesome, great tips. If you've never attended a career fair before, this is the time. Because number one, you're not there in person, so that might take that pressure off a little bit. And that gives you the opportunity to be able to do your heavy duty networking, marketing yourself without necessarily the employer seeing you and asking you those questions, because a lot of it, you're gonna be doing it virtual anyway, and the different platforms have different ways of doing it. So connect with University Career Services. We are there to help you. That's what we're there for. Reach out to me if you need any type of additional support, even if it's just to get you a list of employers that are open to talking to international students, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very informative. I think she will be dropping, I think Ayo will be dropping her email address and how you can contact her in the chat box. So y'all please do contact her and just take good use of this resource. Before we move on, I don't know if I'm saying the name right. Desaya would be sharing his screen to show us how to use LinkedIn properly.
Yeah, I think that was one of the questions. I think that was, I don't know how we're gonna ask it, but if you go to the fifth slide, I think that's where all the questions are.
Yes.
That was one of the responses to one of the questions. So I can show it now if you want.
Yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Better. It's better.
So basically, I can share it now, or it was basically my response to one of the questions, one of the prompts on, I think, the fifth slide. So I can just go down there's some questions there, and I think it was the fifth or the fourth question. That was my response to it. Yeah.
So now we are going to get to discussions. So we have come up with possible discussion topics. The panelists are free to add more to it and just give advice or just answer more questions as well as on the discussion slides. But the first thing we'd like to talk about is, I know that as international students, sometimes we go into career fairs or just talking to employers and we just have this myths and people just tell us like things about being an international student that even before we walk in and talk to recruiters, like we already have in the back of our mind that, oh, I'm not gonna get this or this is hard. So what are kind of some of the myths you heard when you were job searching?
Yeah, I can go ahead and start. So it's as international student, we may be hearing constantly that, hey, international students don't get jobs and it's really hard to find jobs. But, the truth is that our objective truths, they lead our subjective reality, essentially. So if your objective reality is strong, then you can overcome anything. So some of the myths is just, hey, you better just try to find job in your own country. You won't be able to get anything here, but that is not the truth. Just, keeping strong in faith and trusting God and doing whatever you need to do, the door will be open, and, God is the God of impossible. So it's nothing to fear.
Does anybody else wants to go next?
I can go next. So many times we hear that there are no open doors, and we hear that, yeah, we won't be able to get any opportunities. And sometimes we hear that we have to lie. So I think we have to focus on and just doing our best to find something out there, because if someone else, if all of the people here were able to get something, it means we also can. We just have to find out what is that we have to work on, what is that we have to put our time to improve ourselves or to become a better version of ourselves in order to get opportunities out there. So yeah, I don't think that we have to focus on those needs or opinions that they are not open doors. It is hard, but they are open doors that we just have to actually look for. And sometimes we hear that we do have to lie, but that's not the ideal path. You don't have to lie. You just have to make sure you know where you want to be and kind of lead your path or kind of build your way there.
Thank you so much, Rosa.
I guess I could say something about that. Kind of agree with what Rosa just said. So there are two ways I see myself as I think like an international student. The first part is that, yes, I'm not a US citizen, and whether or not I like it, I'm not a priority of the US government. It's okay. I'm not angry. It's fine. I totally understand, right? But that is me knowing within myself that there will be a level playing field with me and a US citizen. So what does that make me do? It's kind of like what I just said. I have to go, stay 5 steps ahead, move 10 steps. I think personally, I've probably lost how many steps ahead I try to keep myself. Part. The second part, which kind of builds on what Rosa said strongly, is that I sometimes forget I'm an international student, especially when I'm speaking to recruiters. Like it's not one of the things on my mind in any way whenever I'm speaking to them. I'm focused on the roles they have, the opportunities they have, the kind of projects they work on, and how that relates to my skills and interests. Okay, and personally, I'm just like that. For me entirely is my focus. So can I come across as that person that's is like someone they would love to work with, someone they would love to have on their team, someone they would love to tell their CEO that, hey, I'm the person that got this guy for this company, so you gotta remember that. So that's generally my own focus when I'm speaking to recruiters. So again, like I said, it's those two mindsets. One, I know I'm an international student. It's not going to be a level playing field. So I work extra hard. I go extra miles. If others network just once, I network in like 2-3 different organizations within school, outside of school. But then when I'm speaking to the recruiters or to the engineers, I totally forget that I'm an international student. And I just focus on what they have and what I have to offer as well.
I'm just going to second what Utana just said. Like they say you attract the energy that you put out, right? So if you're going to talk to a recruiter and the only thing that's in your mind is, oh, I'm international, they're going to ask me, you're probably not going to be able to, position yourself in the best way that would attract them to, to be interested in you and what you have to offer. But if you go with the mindset of, oh, this company does this, and I have so and so skills, or I've done this in the past that can really help, or I can really add to, to the company. That's like a different mindset right there. You have like room to communicate with the recruiters, and in their head, you're not like, oh, they're not going to hire me because of this. In your head, it's like, oh, they're already seeing all the great things that I have to offer, and they'll be more willing to even call me up for an interview. So things like that. I remember freshman year, my first career fair, and I remember the first company I spoke to was Schlumberger, and when I walked up to the recruiter, the first thing I said, I was like, do you guys sponsor? Literally, do you guys sponsor? Like things like that. If you don't know, because sometimes, yes, it's good to be aware, but if that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth or in your mind, that clogs out all the other things that are more important for your company to even be interested in you. So those are the things that you should be thinking about. Like, first of all, yes, you're international. Know the companies that you're going to talk to. That's one thing. Like, government companies, definitely it's going to be, I don't know if international students ever work with government companies. I don't think so. So just have those ones off your list. There's companies out there that say, oh, we don't sponsor, but truly they do. They just don't tell people that. So just put that at the back of your mind, like, okay, stop worrying about international. Yeah, I'm going to focus on all these companies. They're not government. I can talk to them. And then you go and you present what you have to offer. And right there, if that's the path that God has for you, then he's going to make a way. If not, then move on to the next one. Like Lotana said, and like Ayo said, you have to be 10 steps ahead. It's not going to be easy. You just have to keep talking to way more companies, just like that. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Cynthia.
I also wanted to add something to the conversation. I think I second what all you guys all just said, and it's really important for you guys to let the company recruiters know who you are as a person, like know what qualities you bring to the table, what you have to offer. And a lot of companies out there do accept international students for internships. Government companies don't sponsor full time, but they do accept for internships, because I interned in San Francisco Public Works. It's with the government. And even though I was not able to get sponsorship from there, I still got the opportunity to intern and gain that experience. So just by letting them get to know you, instead of like asking first, hey, do you sponsor? I think, yeah, that's a mistake. But let them know you, know what you bring to the table. And then most companies are willing to give you the opportunity to, like, you know, show yourself and prove yourself. And then eventually, once they get to know you, then from then on, you can discuss like other opportunities with them, or like at least use the experience somewhere else to like get another job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to add something to what Mohammed said, kind of like about how some companies might say they don't sponsor, or some companies might say they don't accept international students, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be like a case-by-case basis, right? Like when I entered General Motors, for example, they don't accept international students, and it doesn't matter, like still like you say, like shoot your shot at them and then see what you get from it. Like they might like reject you after your internship. It doesn't matter, because you still got your experience from there, and your experience too, like really valuable in your resume. I think another thing for me is start going to conferences like really early, right? Like sophomore year, from your junior year, just keep going to all the conferences. Like if you can actually budget to go to SWE, NSB, or like SHIP, for example, like just go to SHIP, just go to every single conference for the year, because it'll be worth it. You might spend like money on the short term, but like long term, the opportunities and like offers you get from there would be worth your time and worth your money, definitely. So I think someone was talking about like diversity and how like most companies are looking for like diversity, right? Take that to like your advantage. Like it doesn't matter if you think you're kind of, I guess, selling your diversity or something. It doesn't matter. Like take advantage of that. You're smart. Your resume shows for it, so you can still like go forward and do that. Lastly, the only thing I wanted to touch on, and I wish I knew before I started applying to jobs, is be careful with the question of do you require sponsorship, and be careful with the question of like are you authorized to work in the US, because you have to like answer it very well and also answer it in the way that you're not lying, right? So you're authorized to work in the United States, right? That's true, and you should always answer that. If you require sponsorship or not, that will be a case-by-case basis, and that will also be how the question is framed. Some of those things are going to knock you out of the application process very early on and will put you at a disadvantage. So be sure to like read the question well, answer it well, or like conduct someone's or ask for someone's help. Someone's done that before, and then just answer it very carefully, because you don't want to like knock yourself out of that process too early.
Yeah, that's really important. Like what Sylvia said, how like you work up to a recruiter and the first thing he asks is, do you sponsor? I think like I've made that mistake like a lot of times. I know people that have like sessions and the first thing you say is, do you sponsor? And they know, and you just get bumped. So how, like, I mean, the big question is, how would you tell, like, what's the question? How would you like tell your recruiter or just communicate with them that you're an international student?
Can you repeat the question?
What was the question?
I'm sorry. Okay. So I know that a lot of the times, like people like make the mistake of like going, first thing you say to a recruiter is, do you sponsor, or I'm an international student, what do you have for me? But the question is, when is the right time to kind of let your recruiter know, or like the team know that you're an international student?
Do you want me to answer that question?
Yes, please.
So okay. It's not a one size fits all. So there's not going to be a specific time that you answer that question. It's the thought process. So let me walk you through the thought process. If you're thinking that you're approaching the recruiter, employer, whoever that is, as international students, there's no doubt about the fact that that's already in your mind and the back of your mind. There's just no doubt about it. Just like Lotana said, you know you're an international student, and it's something that it may be an issue. But here's the deal. If you go and you have the opportunity to speak to an employer, to recruiter, if that employer or recruiter could see the fact that you are an international student and if they sponsor more than what you can offer them, they're not interested. That's the truth. So I'll give you an example, because the way I usually like to give examples of people that are international students that've been through it. University of Houston. There was a student who struggled with that so much. You know, when they introduce themselves, my name is blah, 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 I'm from da, 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 da. You already told that person that you're an international student already without them even asking. So the next thing they're going to tell you after you give them your elevator pitch is, oh, we don't hire international students. So it took a while to actually get the student to change the mindset of how you look at it. You want to approach. The thing is, you do not need any type of sponsorship for CPT or OPT if you're STEM 3 years. You don't, really. So, but then if you struggle with, well, how do I answer that question? Am I lying? Am I not lying? I never tell anybody one way or the other to answer that question. Think it through. Think it through. You do not need any type of sponsorship from that person at that point in time. And I have seen last year, there were over 20 students that they lost an internship at the point where they said, oh, I'm going to need you to sign some form or something for OPT. And the employer came back with, oh, I have to check. Then they came back and said, no, I don't hire international students. And that was as a result of answering yes to that question. So that's a tricky question when they ask if you're going to need sponsorship. Anything can happen in a year. Anything can happen in 3 years. So I will never encourage you to, in any way, shape, or form, disclose to the employer or recruiter that you are international students. Spend all your energy talking about what you can offer the company. That's what your job is. That's what your goal is. That's what you should be going into a career fair or networking with, is this is what I can do for your company. This is the skills I have. This is how I can benefit. I also know a student works with Coca-Cola. When this student, Coca-Cola has never, they don't hire international students. But when this student went and started networking with them on LinkedIn, going to the events and all these other things that they had, this student was able to show the transferable skills and the skills that they have that can benefit Coca-Cola. And then Coca-Cola began to say, okay, maybe we should get this person an internship. The person was able to get an internship. It was during the course of the internship while the student was really doing the best at the job that the issue of sponsorship or no sponsorship came up. And the student said, yeah, I can work for your company for 3 years, but after that, I'm going to need some type of sponsorship. And they said, okay, what can we do to make that happen? And they did what they had to do to make it happen. So I said all that to say that your goal, more than anything else, should be, what can you do to the company? But what I see is the opposite. I see a lot of international students going into a career fair looking, first of all, for companies that hire international students. That's the first error. When you go into a career fair and you say, well, first of all, which are the companies that hire? You have already taken some companies out of your list already. No company is going to tell you flat out, outright, yes, come on and apply a hire international student. Some of them might say it, but majority of them won't. But if they find the right candidate, they will do whatever they need to do to bring that person on board. So your task should be, how can I showcase myself as a good option? I have leadership skills. I am potential for this company. This company can invest their time and effort in me, and they will get their ROI more than your status.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I can relate to that. I think I made that mistake. I made that mistake last semester, and I think I was filling out the form. I already had my internship, and I was filling out the form, and I put that I needed F1, and I remember they called me back. I remember that I put like I needed sponsorship, and I remember they called me back the next day, and then they took back the internship. So I think that's really good. That's really good advice. Never gonna make that mistake again. So,
can I say this? In conjunction with what Iris said, it's, for me personally, when I was interviewing, I went to the first interview, and it was at the second interview that I made it clear. And you have to make it very clear that it depends on whether you have STEM OPT or just the regular OPT. For me, I only had the regular OPT. So I told them I don't require sponsorship right now. I would require sponsorship after a year. Explain what that was. You have to be very knowledgeable about what it is. You have to explain to people, because some people actually need to hold their hand. And so if you are interviewing with people who are like on the fence or they're confused, find somebody there who knows what this is about. If you can't talk to somebody in HR who understands, like I personally had an interview with the team and HR, and they asked me some questions, and whenever they circled to that question, I made it very clear, because initially they asked some questions, you require sponsorship, all that stuff. You can say you're eligible to work now, you require sponsorship. If they let you go to the next phase, because some places will actually cut you off. That's it, you're out. But if you go in, then they're probably interested. So just make sure you're very clear that, listen, this is what it is. If you have STEM, that's great. I don't require it till this time. After here, these are the options. And some people already know what to do. Their lawyers know what to do. Their HR department know what to do. But some people, I've seen people where they had no idea about sponsorship, and they just said, you know what, this person was so good. What's the next step forward? And I'm just gonna say as well, after you get, after they like you and they want to sponsor you and all that kind of stuff, you still have to be very on top of things, because you don't want anything to slip through the cracks. You need to know what the process is like. You need to understand. I personally ask to check things over, because you need to know nobody's going to be as invested in you and your growth and something that's that important to you as you. So don't ever think that you can relax once they're trying to sponsor you, or once you get in, you can relax. Just know that this is something that you have to be very, very particular about, because it's very important to you. So that's what I would say.
Can I just add something real quick? For people who are not comfortable with that question, because there's some people that are just not comfortable with it. So everybody's comfort level is different. Some people are not comfortable with answering yes or no. My advice to them is to work on a detailed cover letter. And when I say detailed cover letter, I don't mean pages upon pages. A nice crafted cover letter that you've taken some time to explain exactly everything Desiree just talked about. So that when you get to the point where you're filling out an application and the application will not let you bypass it unless you answer that sponsorship question, send it together with your resume as a cover letter. If you answer no, if you answer, would you need sponsorship, and you choose to answer no, make sure that you put that in your cover letter and you send it with your cover letter so they can read it. But what you're going to put in that cover letter is what you're explaining to the employer, that with the type of STEM OPT you have, and don't use all this STEM OPT, F1, J1, it gets really confusing. They don't know what it is, and that can scare them. Just use layman terms to explain to them that you can work for the company for 3 years. It's as simple as that. I've seen where that really worked, because it's like, okay, I don't want to answer yes, I don't want to answer no, but this question, I can't bypass it. If you feel comfortable answering yes, then answer no. That you don't need sponsorship, but make sure you have that letter written ahead of time, so that when you get to the point where they begin to dilly-dally about this, you can just forward it to the recruiter and say, hey, this is what's going on. So like she said, you have to hold their hands through this process. You have to be the one to educate them. But what I see is sometimes a lot of international students don't even understand the process themselves, and they tend to go off what other people are telling them. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Your experience is going to be different from the person right next to you. Even if you have the same major, the same everything, your experience is going to be different. The employer might look at your resume, look at their resume, choose to hire you, not hire. It's going to be different. So you can't just go off on the general, oh yeah, this company, no, don't worry, they don't hire. I'm going to use Lotana as an example. A lot of people say Shell does not hire international students for interns or for a job. He interned with them this summer, didn't he? So when you already take yourself out of the pool because you're saying for this company, they don't hire, so I'm not even going to bother. You've already taken yourself out of the pool. You've already not even given yourself a fair chance. So you have to put all hands on deck. You have to do everything because you don't know which one is going to pan out for you.
Thank you. So I guess we could get some questions because 2 people have asked questions. The first question was, what do you think about sharing soft skills as a part of your elevator pitch?
Well, your soft skills should be, as international students, should be almost half of your elevator speech. Because again, like I said, the technical skills, you have your major, your minor to show that you're competent to do the job. Nobody's going to award you an engineering degree if you haven't gone through the organic chemistries and all of that stuff. So you already have the technical skills. Like I said before, the challenge that employers have is international students and soft skills. It's a wrong assumption. I don't know where the assumption is coming from, but that's just what they assume. They don't know how to communicate. They don't have leadership skills. They don't know how to take initiative. I don't know where all that is coming from, where they're getting that from, because that's absolutely not true. I've met some international students that have an awesome leadership skills and all of that. So yes, you should throw that as almost half of your elevator pitch, or the tell me about yourself, where you can tell them that I was the historian with the National Association. Don't even say NSBE, they don't know what it is. National Society of Black Engineers. You say it out instead of using the acronym so it can resonate with them. That I was the president for 2 years and I developed, they already know the technical skills. So yeah, you're gonna say that you have your major, your minor, and all of that. But yes, your soft skills should be a part of your tell me about yourself, or what we call the elevator pitch.
Thank you. The second question was, during an interview, a recruiter once asked me what my visa status was, and like it was part of a series of questions they asked me. Are they supposed to do that? That was the question.
Technically, they're not supposed to do it, but again, there's a lot of things that employers or recruiters are not supposed to do. They do it, and there's nothing we can do about it. If I were to be an international student that the recruiter would ask me that question, I would say, if they ask me about my visa status, I would turn it around and flip it around and say something like, my visa status allows me to work. I can contribute to your company, and just kind of sideline it, but answer it. The reason they're asking that question is they're wanting you to say things like F1, J1, L1, and stuff like that. The minute you throw those things out, they may not even know what that means. They're just going by the assumptions of everything they've heard, J1, F1, and in their mind, they think anything with letters and numbers means that you're not eligible to work. That's just how employers think. And that's what I'm saying. You have to see how employers see things so you understand the need to educate them. In their mind, anything with a letter and a number, F1, J1, 21, H1B, and all these things, in their mind, it's like, oh yeah, that person is an international student, that person cannot work. You may be an H1B person and you can still work for as long as you want, but that's how they look at it. So I will avoid any FJ1, whatever. I will just answer that question in the lines of, my visa status allows me to work for any company in the United States. Because for your OPT and your internship, depending who gives you a job, yeah, you can. They're not supposed to do that, but if they ask that question, then you be smart about it too and give them a smart answer. And I'm not saying be aggressive, but I'm saying give them a smart answer that kind of just says, okay, yes, I can work for any company, but this is what I can offer you.
Thank you.
I just want to add to that. I feel like sometimes the recruiter or the person interviewing you may not even be an HR person. So they may not even know that, oh, even if you have this type of visa or whatever, you say you're going to use OPT, the company can still sponsor you. So that's something you can consider as well, because if they hear something like that, they'll be like, oh, our company probably doesn't sponsor, so we're just going to reject this person. But then maybe it's HR that has that information and they're willing to sponsor it. You know, the recruiters know very well that this is somebody that would like to have as an addition to our team because they have like really good skills. So that's one thing to consider too. Like, just focus on your skills that you're presenting, what you can offer them whenever you're interviewing, and then let the, visa sponsorship come after, in my opinion. That's how I think about it.
Just to pitch in a bit.
I think.
Arafat. Oh, how do you want to go? Sure.
Oh yeah, no, you can go.
Okay, so just to pitch in a bit, I guess there's another part to this, right? Some recruiters may tell you that, oh, okay, we don't want to hire you, and we know that in the next 3 years, we're probably not going to have you, right? You're probably going to have to leave the country if you're H1B or anything does not get cleared. And personally, I say sometimes it's down to confidence. Just a little personal example. I had an interview once with someone, and he told me, he was like, "Hey, I like your profile, but my problem is that from the way I see you, you're not gonna stay in my company more than 1 year." So he was like, "Oh, how would you feel if you got married and sponsored your spouse or your partner through school, and then after 1 year your partner left you?" And I don't know what I was thinking, but my reply I gave to him was, "Well, it depends on what you got in 1 year with your partner. I mean, it may be that within that 1 year you got way more than you could get in 10 years with someone else. So I'd say you still." So sometimes I guess it's down to that confidence, you remaining confident and calm, no matter how they try to put you in a spot, like, you're in a bad spot. Just remain calm and confident, and let it just be obvious that, man, I want this person to be leading my product design for my teams. Like, just have that mindset, like, this person has got to see me as the person they want to be leading their company. They want to be leading this division. They want to be doing this. Like, that's just the way I reason. I'm speaking to them. Like, that's just what you have to see. Whatever else, whatever papers are on the side. I mean, if it's necessary, anyone on this life will go the extra mile for the right person. So you just have to present yourself as that and be focused on that, and just remain confident no matter what. Like, Cynthia said, I mean, worst comes to worst, there's what companies within the US or in Texas alone. So it's just, if anything, that alone should take off any element of fear in you when you're speaking to them. There's way many options. So just let that help take off any fear or doubts in your heart.
Yeah, and just adding to what was said, it goes back to what is the hardest thing for international students. Sometimes is they don't know the value that they bring on the table, and actually they don't know how the process looks like. One of the things that I would say is the hardest for international students is being formed, and start early. I remember when I start attending either the U of H Career Fair or the national conferences for either NASB or other student organizations, I just didn't know. And by the time I got to know, it was a little late for me. And, and having to learn the whole process, hey, I can work with OPT, I can do this, I can do that, It took a little bit time to grasp the whole information. But once you know all of that, it's easier for you to speak to whoever comes in front of you. Even your language, if they talk about communication skills, the fact that you are bilingual, it brings something, something valuable to the table, and the fact that you're doing undergrad and you have 4 years studying in English, it shows that, you can speak English at all. So, you don't need to worry about English. Showcase that you are bilingual. That's another thing that sometimes international students don't bring to the table. And another thing is that showcase your technical skills. Here's the thing. There was a day that I attended an info session from Halliburton, and the recruiter looked to all the resumes he received. And one thing he said was the following: all of you come to me presenting your soft skills. And as important as it is, I don't see you talking about your technical skills. It's important for you to talk about your technical skills. Soft skills can get you the interview. And of course, you need that. You need soft skills to get the interview, to excel in the interview. But your technical skills, they speak louder as well, because at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna be doing once you are hired. So when you go to present yourself, I just talk about, the soft skills. Bring the projects that you worked on, and don't try to compare yourself with the nationals, the Americans. Don't try to do it. you may think, oh, he went to high school, he did this, I didn't do this, you know, if I didn't have the chance to do the same thing they did. Really just focus on the things that you have and the things you can improve. That is the reason that while in college, you need to take as much opportunity as you can. You know, I would say the hardest things is for international students to actually understand the value they bring to the table and be informed about the whole process. That's one thing I would add.
I think to add to what you just said, the value that international students bring is definitely important, because one of the myths, and this ties into one of the myths that I heard when I was job searching, and which was, you know, just take anything that you get, you know, wherever you go, you're lucky to be there, just be grateful. And very dangerously, some people get to where they are and they don't negotiate as well as they should, because they feel like, oh my God, they're just taking a chance and I'm lucky to be here. Your skills are very important. Your skills are very sought after. If you get any job, anywhere that you are, know that you have gone through a process and you are the best candidate for that job. So first of all, just graduating or being a student of University of Houston, your degree is as important as whoever you go to school with. You still get the same degree. You know, your expertise, whatever it is that you've learned, is as important. So go with that mindset that I bring a lot to the table. My expertise is valued. What I have to offer is important. And please don't ever make the mistake of not negotiating as intensely as you think that you should, because whatever it is that you go in there with, whatever it is that you like, you think your value is, some people are going to address you and continue to treat you that way. So make sure that you go to the table knowing that your value is as important as anybody else there. Also, I would say that one of the hardest parts of job seeking that I think a lot of people don't talk about is the hurdles that you have to jump through. So it's very, very stressful to looking for a job, period. It doesn't matter if you're international student, American, you know, it's difficult. As an international student, you have so much on the line. You have like a time frame to find a job after you graduate. You know, you have different hurdles that you have to jump through. It's very difficult. So people get very burnt out, and we don't talk about it. People get very stressed out. And I think it's very important to be very cognizant of that and know that you take a break when you need to. And also just like do the best that you can with what you have. And I'm going to mention something else that I think someone mentioned about, you know, the technical skills. One of the things that I did when I was looking for a job, because at that point I was very intense in my job search. So I made a website and I put all my technical stuff, all the stuff that I'd done that I wanted people to see. And so I just attached that link to my resumes or my cover letters, or if you can find people's emails and get your resume cover letter through their emails, that's very, very good, because sometimes you put in your resume and you apply to all these different places and you tweak your resume and it just doesn't get to people just don't see your resume. It doesn't mean that it's not good or your skills are not great. People just don't they're not seeing it. So if you can showcase your actual skills, what it is that you have worked on, what you've built, what you've created, try and do that and put that somewhere, even if it's in a document, whatever, add that to your resume if you can. And then if you can do whatever it is to get your resume in front of somebody's, that is very important, because they have to go through so many resumes, and sometimes some people just apply earlier and they see those ones and they're done. They're not looking anymore. No matter how great your resume is, they just don't see it. So be very careful about those things. The plan here is to work harder, to work smarter, not harder. Don't burn yourself out by just doing things the most stressful way. So I think that's very important to think about as well.
Thank you. So I think we kind of covered the first three together. Does anybody have anything on the first three bullet points to share?
I just wanted to add something real quick about the resume thing. So the thing is, a lot of times, a lot of students focus on trying to put everything that they've done on their resume, whether it be class projects or academic projects, and they're not thinking about relevant skills. You have to make sure that what you have on your resume are relevant skills. 90% of employers use what we call the applicant tracking system. If you're not familiar with that system, if you don't know what the applicant tracking system is, do yourself a favor. Stop whatever it is that you're doing right now and be very educated and informed on that. If I connect you with a recruiter and the recruiter says, forward your resume to me, that's a good connect. That's a good networking. That recruiter, if that recruiter wants to hire you or put you in the line, then they're going to forward it to HR or whoever they need to forward it, and it's going to go through the applicant tracking system. Applicant tracking system is what we talk about when we talk about keywords. Some people call it a software resume. Some people call it a robot resume, whatever it is they call it. What that means is that for every job that you're applying to, the software, whatever software it is, some people use Taleo, Oracle, PeopleSoft, you never know what the organization is going to use. So the software is going to pick relevant keywords that is relevant to the position. So the job description is what you really need to pay attention to and make sure that you have all the relevant keywords from that job description somehow on your resume. Because no matter how good the experience you have, if that resume that you're sending to the employer is not relevant to the job that you're applying for, the applicant tracking system is not going to key you in. So some people say, well, but I have 3 years work experience from my home country before I came. Does that mean it doesn't count? If it's not relevant to the position you're applying for, you're not going to help yourself in any way because that applicant tracking system is not going to pick it up. So when you have people say, I apply all the time and I rarely get any response back, because come on, if you have the experience, if you have the technical skills, at least you'll get a phone screening interview. And then if you get a couple of interviews and the interviews don't work, then we'll know that, okay, maybe it's an interviewing problem. You have to do some mock interviews. But your resume is supposed to do what it's supposed to do. But that applicant tracking system, I see where that is 70 to 75% a problem a lot of times. People are not putting the relevant skills. They want to showcase all the experience. They want to cram everything into that one-page resume we talk about. They want to put the coursework. They want to put all these things. The question is it relevant to the position you're applying for? When they put it through that applicant tracking system, is it going to pick the keywords? If it's not relevant to what you're applying for, save it for the cover letter or something, because that resume will go through that applicant tracking system. If you're not able to bypass that system, it's going to be extra hard. So it's hard enough, but that resume, you have to make sure. You have to make sure. The other thing that gets people with that applicant tracking system, people think I'm going to make my resume stand out. The applicant tracking system, and don't take my word for it, do your research. That's why we say just use a basic Word document. When you start having images and columns here, and then engineering, they say, this is how you do it. You column something, you do that. The applicant tracking system just kicks it out because it doesn't work well with images and many different things. And again, like I said, do your research and find out. If it has a header and a footer, that's the number one thing, it's just going to kick it out. So you're not even, it's not even scanning your resume to see what you have to offer. It's already saying you don't qualify. And that has nothing to do with your skills or experience. So if nothing else, do your research, learn about the applicant tracking system. First thing first, the hardest part of job seeking, as I'm looking at the discussion question, the hardest part is make sure your resume can bypass that applicant tracking system. That's the most difficult part, in my opinion.
I think I want to add to what I just said. So for the applicant tracking system, so basically, in my opinion, if you want to apply to jobs blindly, or if somebody connects to you and you want to apply through the system like that, you can do that and make sure, like she said, it's very, very, very important. There's things like, putting it in PDF sometimes is better than in Word. It's very sensitive. I've gone on some sites where like you compare and you make sure that there's certain words that it catches, and you have to make sure that it's as close to the job description as possible. Now, for me personally, I would say that I've gone that route, and it is very, very hard to keep applying with that and keep tweaking your resume and making sure that the applicant tracking system is this. And even when you go through that route, if you blind apply, there's still a low chance of you getting selected. So for me, I've seen now in 2020, we're in a pandemic, the most important thing I would say today to do is to try as much as possible to reach out to people and get referrals, because that way you can kind of bypass the system. I've seen cases where I've worked with people, I've talked to people, and they have gone through the route like trying to get referrals, and I will show you in LinkedIn how to do that. But they have done that, and the mental stress that is taken away by actually going that route, and people actually seeing your resume for what it is. Because I've done something before where I've gone to the applicant tracking system and saw, I was like, oh, it didn't get enough. It didn't bypass the system. And a recruiter in that company has looked at my resume and thought my resume was fine. And that's simply because the little things that is picked up by the applicant tracking system, sometimes it's to remove people's resumes. And if you can boycott all of that and actually take your resume to the front, somebody's face, and they look at it and see your skills, that's more important to me. Because all the other stuff, especially for me, I did HR. That was my thing. So I can stay all day and I look at people's resumes, edit people's resumes, do all that stuff. That's my thing. You shouldn't have to be, as a student, as an engineer, you shouldn't have to be going through it and making sure you're tweaking this every day and making sure that you're doing this because this company, Shell does this and then Chevron does this. I don't know if they all use the same applicant track. You shouldn't have to know all of that in depth the way that people are having to know it right now. I think that it is important to network smart, and it's important to make sure that people see your resume as a human being is looking at your resume. Because I've worked in recruiting before, and literally sometimes you are getting people you want people to look at your resume, and you need 50 people, or 50 people, you're seeing, you need 15 people for that job, and literally 50 people have applied, and you're going through those people. Human beings are human beings, and they will try to take the easy route out. So some people will just literally look at the first 50, first 60, sort through it, get their 15. You are smart, you're smart, your resume is great, they just didn't get to your resume. And I feel like it is, especially in a pandemic, we need to be very, very careful the way that we strategize as international students. I've spoken with people who have used some of the formats that I told them about, and they have literally gotten emails and they've gotten messages back from people who they ordinarily wouldn't be able to get their resumes in front of. So we need to be very, very careful the way that if you're going to the applicant system route, you need to know exactly what you do. Like I said, you need to know exactly what you're doing and research all of that. But for me, I think that's one of the questions on the list. What would you have done differently? That's what I would have done differently. I would have gone this route and tried to get referrals, try to make sure that somebody sees my resume, even if it's by getting into their inbox, looking for their email, or networking with them on LinkedIn. That's something that really, I need people to understand and try to network really smart. No matter how introverted you are, it's very important, in my opinion.
Just to add on what all the panelists just said, it is highly important for us to know that the main problem is not just being international student. We actually kind of not competing, but we all, even the nationals, they are applying for the same jobs we are applying. But we have to ask ourselves, what are we bringing to the table? it's not just about having a great resume. What are you putting on your resume? What are you doing to build your career or even your resume, or building yourself as a professional? So we do have to find those opportunities, be a leader, find some jobs on campus. So those are the things that you're going to be able to, to bring to the table. Those are the experiences that you have to actually work on or look for you to be able to be a better candidate. Because imagine you have a classroom of 50 students. They are all chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, whatever, and they all have good GPAs. We can assume that. Why are they going to hire you instead of the other student? And if you're an international student and you have the same GPA, the same experience, why would I hire you? It's an extra work. So you have to make sure you're bringing something that's going to make you stand out. So look for those opportunities. Ayo said we do have to highlight those skills. So make sure you look for those opportunities that allow you to build communication, leadership, and not just those as technical skills. And you have to be able to put those skills into your resume in a way that it can actually go along with the job description. So make sure you build yourself up there. It's not just about writing your resume and putting, I am a good communicator, I am this and that. You have to make sure you're learning those skills. It's not just about putting on you have to actually gain those skills. This is something that I actually have been focusing on. And I remember on my first career fair, I was in a line and my resume was like so empty. And I saw the person in front of me with a beautiful resume. And I was like, I gave up. I left the line and I didn't finish the career fair because I felt like I wasn't worth it. So, and from there, my challenge was to build my resume to the point that one day I would apply to a job without talking to a company and still be able to get an interview, and it happened. So this was the point that I actually got confident about my resume. So we do have to build ourselves to that point. And just to talk about what I would have done differently is just to start earlier. So I think Elders mentioned that we usually start a little bit later. We just start learning about all these aspects of the job search a little later. But I really advise, if you can, starting your freshman year, just start looking for information, start attending, go to the career center, go to UH and career service and things like that. Just make sure you start learning about all these aspects early in your student life.
I kind of wanted to add to Rosa's comment really quick too. And also the previous two comments about the resumes. So I feel like everything's a balance, and especially everything that you do. I would highly emphasize networking. Networking is very important. To like, you don't. It's very funny. Like they could push. A lot of the recruiters could push their hands to do things that you wouldn't think that they can do. And again, once they see that persistency, like when I say network, get to the point that one career fair. I remember one time I went to a career fair at UH, talked to someone in Jacobs, and then I saw them in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and talked to them there. And they remember faces. They might not remember your name, but they remember faces. And the fact that he was there, the fact that he saw my persistence, like he was appreciative of that. And it got to the point that I don't even do the elevator pitch to him. It's like, oh, how you doing? We just like talk regular. So that's what I mean by networking. Like make sure you're putting your face there. And then also with the resumes, it's very good to have your resume to be versatile. One thing I personally do, again, that's why I said it's all balancing. I do have my generic resume that I give to like any company, but the companies that I know that I want to like talk to, especially from like going to the career fairs, looking at the list, doing the research, just make sure like find a way to kind of gear your resume towards them, because they do look at things like that. And again, these recruiters, like they can be harsh. They can look at these resumes and just like, just go through them. But you want to make sure that, again, you stand out, and be unique. Be unique as a person. Be honest as who you are. And again, start early. You don't want to wait. Start from freshman year. I tell all my mentees in NSBE, like, hey, just start right now. Even though your resume isn't the best, once you go to the career fair, by the time you're a sophomore, they remember you your freshman year. So that's my little input to kind of, especially those really 3 last comments. Those are really good.
I guess I could probably pitch into say my final words on this as well. So first thing I'm going to say is Desire, I hope I got the name right. She's right. She's right about the fact that any day, anytime, I believe a referral beats a general application. Okay, and you get referrals through your networking opportunities. Now, I will just share some brief tips about networking opportunities. I'll share just two things. One, I know this applies mostly to grad students, masters and PhD. I'm not gonna say it doesn't apply to undergrads because I did not do it as an undergrad. But in addition to being active in your student chapter of professional organizations, you can actually be active in the professional like in the professional section of those organizations. So for instance, I'm the president of SPA at the University of Houston currently, but I also have a role within the SPA in Gulf Coast section. So that's like all of Houston, parts of Louisiana as well. So, and that kind of puts my network way beyond whatever we're able to get as students. And I know what that gets for me. The second tip I'll give is that when you go to, I'll give two tips about conferences. One is there's one mistake that most students, you go to conferences and you just keep calm or you keep quiet. Heck no. At a conference, especially a technical conference, there's no way I'm leaving there without everybody knowing Lotana. Like, no way. And it's not going to be by like meeting each person one-on-one. It's going to be that if there are 5 technical papers or 5 technical sessions or 5 speakers, I have for every one of them. And those questions, believe me, are going to throw them off their feet. Now, I started doing this just, naturally because I'm very inquisitive. But after some time, I realized that it actually got so many persons, like not this time, it's not even engineers, like CEOs that were like among the audience. Like, who's that guy? Who is that guy? Like after the conference, I'll see some persons like walk up to me like, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, here's my card. Stay in touch. Like, so one very key trick that most students do not know. So that's the other thing I want to say, that art of selling yourself. That art of selling yourself is something that most students do not do well. That's what, in a way, that's what your resume is for. In a way, that's what your LinkedIn profile is for. Okay, I know what I get through LinkedIn. I just looking at me right now because I remember all the days that I started going to University Career Services, and that I should probably say something about that as well. I have to give a whole lot of commendation to Ayo and their team at UCS. I came into UH fall of 2018. I knew I had the quality. There's an exam in PhD we call qualifiers. So I knew I was going to take that in summer of 2019. So I wasn't planning on going on any internships, right? But for all of fall 2018 and spring 2019, I attended probably like 80 or 90% of UCS events. So resume workshop, resume critiques, interviews, networking, job search for international students, negotiating your salaries, financial skills. Like I attended financial literacy, like I attended literally everything. I kept on going over, and because I knew I was new to the system and I really wanted to understand it as much as possible to build my strategy. So I have to just say that's like, as much as possible, if you're new or you already are here, just do your best to attend UCS events. The other trick I want to give when you go to conferences is when you meet people, let's say you listen to someone or you walk up to someone and you're discussing with a person and you like that person's like experience or skills, don't just ask for a complimentary card. This is the other trick. Ask the person to be your mentor. So one thing that most students do not know is that mentorship is something that professionals like a lot. Like the chances of you being told no when you ask for a complimentary card is like 5 out of 10, or okay, let me say 4 out of 10. The chances of you getting a response after you ask for a complimentary card is like probably less, like 4 out of 10. But the chances of you getting a response from someone that you told directly that I really like your profile, I'd like to stay in touch, I don't know, would you mind being my mentor? The chances of that person not responding to you is 0. So it is almost, I literally told one of my friends that had an internship this past summer. She was asking me like, Lotana, what do I do so that, I want to find a way to keep this connection after the internship? That she said she wanted to ask them to extend the internship. I told her, okay, you could ask that, but just do one thing. Look for 1 or 2 persons in that company that you know are key persons that you really admire. Ask them to be your mentors. And I promise you, like, whether or not you end up in that company, the things you will get from them will be like, it will be way more than whatever you would have gotten ending up in that same company. So when you meet people in conferences, you know, those key persons, ask them to be your mentors. That takes you from the general complimentary cards, to some cases, to even to the cell phone numbers. You exchange text messages, calls. I know people that helped me a lot, even to get my Shell internship. These were some tips and tricks that I used to build that network that helped. So yeah, then the career fair, again, like everyone said, start early, prepare early. That's what UCS is for. I attended a lot of those and I still do. So it's not like you get it and then you chill out or relax. So I think those would be like my final advice. Thanks.
Thank you.
I wanted to add something quickly about my advice, like students currently looking for opportunities. I would say one thing which is common among like any job seeker is like you're gonna get rejections, and you're gonna have to like accept rejections. You're gonna have to grow a tough skin while like searching for a job, and like it's a struggle, it's a hard process. But one thing is you just need one interview and one job, you know, one interview to land a full-time job or like an internship. And so I would say don't let any rejections or rejection letters like weigh you down. You know, you have to be optimistic and go into every interview, every application like new and fresh, and like, you know, you have to give it your all. It's a tough process, but having a hard skin and just like keep on talking, like you're selling something, you're selling yourself, and some people are not going to want to buy you or like buy what you offer. And so you just have to keep on going. You know, it's a rough process, but you have to be optimistic each time, and eventually they're going to find a company who can like sponsor you, or who can give you a job, or where you can like show your opportunities and your talents. That's what I had to say.
I want to add to what Lozana said about conferences. You know, for conferences, I think, yes, for me personally, I'm an introvert, and, you know, it's very difficult for me to network, but that's one thing where when I'm there, there's a switch that goes off, and you know you're there for a certain amount of time, and you do the best that you can with the time that you have. Meet people, talk to people. After that, you know, try as much as possible to keep in touch, add them on LinkedIn, speak to them, just do your best. And then now I'm gonna share my screen and show you like stuff on LinkedIn. So I would just say, basically, if you are somebody who was listening to him and was like, this is not me, I'm not very outgoing, this kind of stuff stresses me out, networking stresses me out, I would say start with, especially now in the pandemic, start with the people that are around you, which is your alumni. So I'm gonna share my screen and go to LinkedIn just to show you like what you can do now. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
All right, great. So first of all, I would just go to University of Houston, because that's what, and if you are in grad school, like University of Houston is my grad school. I went to Penn State for undergrad. If you want to do both University of Houston and like your undergrad, they do both. For me, I would go to the University of Houston site, go to alumni, and for the purpose of this, I'm just gonna say that we're looking for mechanical engineering positions. So type in mechanical engineer. Now, let's just say you're looking for someone, and it's if you know where you want to work, the specific company, great. So you can start from there. So I would just, let's say we're looking for Schlumberger. Click on Schlumberger. And let's say you want to stay in Houston. Go here to where they live, click on Houston. So these are the people that you should be, I'm sorry about the noise. These are the people that you should be messaging first. These are your alumni. These are the people that understand exactly, like they will you already have an established connection with these people, message these people and tell them, hi, my name is, I'm just going to say my name. My name is to say I am graduating with a mechanical engineering degree in December. I wanted to just quickly connect with a fellow Coug, talk about your journey here, how you got to where you are. I'm also looking at positions at Schlumberger, and I would really like your insights about the application process or whatever it is. Look for something to connect on and message those people. Where's the stops here? Okay, and message those people and actually like talk to them, because if you're not somebody that like going out of your way and speaking to people and hustling for stuff like this, if it doesn't come easily to you, start like this. I've seen templates. I have templates. If you need a template to reach out to people, reach out to me. I can send you something. Literally just talk to them, and these are the people that you reach out to, and sometimes you speak to them. Can I schedule a 30-minute session with you? Like, be bold about what you want. And in that, if you're able to get a meeting with them, talk to them honestly. And these are people that can refer you to positions. I've seen it happen a lot of times. Just from alumni, I reach out to as many people as possible. And someone just said something about, rejection. You can reach out to some people and they don't respond to you. That's fine. It's their time. But like, even if it's like 10 people a day, reach out to as many as possible in the field, in the exact field you want to work in the companies that you want to work in. And you like, from the people that I've seen that have told about this, like I've seen good results. So definitely try and like reach out to people and network as much as possible. And even if you want people like that to actually look over your resume and say, oh, look at my resume, please tell me what you think. They'll be able to like edit it for you. They'll be able to tell you what they think. And I just think it's a good way to get eyes of people in the company, in the positions that you want to be in, who will probably know about other positions in the company to actually help you and look at your resume. Yeah, so that's my advice.
Thank you. We have a couple questions, and the first question is, how would I stand out during a virtual career fair?
So a virtual career fair, you should look at it as the same thing as an in-person career fair. I don't know, I can speak for UCS, a career fair that is coming up next week. We're going to be doing it through Cougar Pathway. Last semester, we did it through Teams. That was when everything was new, Teams. We found that Teams was a little bit not user-friendly when it comes to doing career fairs. For example, Teams did not give us the opportunity to where you can have that breakout session where you can have that one-on-one. Maybe if I'm an employer and I see a candidate or student that I want to talk to, Teams did not give us an option to give that person a private room where you can take them out of the whole group and go talk to them. So a Cougar Pathway is what we're going to be using for the upcoming career fair next week. That's more user-friendly. That gives you the opportunity to kind of interface with employers. So it feels more like what we're doing now, as opposed to where you're just emailing them and saying, hey, do you have any positions or something like that? So there's that almost like personal touch feel to that for Cougar Pathway. So with that, just do exactly everything you would have done if you were in person. Do not turn your camera off, because that person, you want them to see you and you want to make that first impression also. Yes, I know it's virtual. Sometimes you turn your camera off in class, sometimes all of that. When it comes to recruiting and hiring, that's another main tip. Do not turn your camera off. If you have to have a meeting with a recruiter employer, you go to an event, don't turn your camera off. Leave your camera on and just at least be a business professional. So I would do everything that I would normally do if it were an in-person career fair. The advantage of that is that you can email or present your resume right there and then to the recruiter. You can just share your screen or whatever, however Cougar Pathway is going to work, but I just know that it's more user-friendly and it gives you the opportunity to interface more and better with the employer.
Thank you, Aya. I think we have one more question. The question is, should an elevator pitch include only information about yourself, or should you change some parts depending on the company you're talking to in order to incorporate their goals into it?
Your elevator pitch, bottom line, I'm going to put it this way. Your elevator pitch is supposed to connect you and the employer. So you may use a specific employer elevator pitch for Schlumberger, and then you may use a specific elevator pitch for Exxon. It all boils down to your goals specific to that organization or what you're looking for right there, why you're interested in that company. So your elevator pitch should be for the company. Or for your, you should incorporate it to the goals of the company and your interest in the company.
Thank you. I think that we've covered all the topics for the discussion. Does anybody have anything they would like to add? I feel like we've covered everything.
That's a good question.
Would like to add.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, in addition to, like trying to get referrals and trying to reach out, get mentors and stuff like that. One thing I've done, I noticed I did, which has really helped me, because I went from chemical engineering to stats and data science. And one thing I know that helped me, which would probably help for anybody trying to, find their feet in the job hunting process, is having someone who has gone through it before you that can help you, that is willing to help you and that can help you. Like the person that introduced me to data science, every step of the way, I would be asking questions. I would be like, I want to learn about this, or this company I'm trying to interview with, they do this, or they ask questions about this. Like, what resources are out there that I can use to, build myself up and stuff like that. Or if it's, you get a job and you don't know what to do next, the person be like, try negotiating for a better, like they said, like Aya's mentioned, like negotiating. That's something that probably I've never done before. That's something you can always reach out to somebody who has been there before you and ask, like, how do you go about drafting an email to ask for a better offer and stuff like that. So find people who have gone ahead of you that can, guide you, or that you can feel free to ask questions to, so that, you're not on your own. You're not like walking through this process by yourself. Yes, this meeting is great. And I really hope that everyone who was paying attention is able to get, great insights from it and great advice. But throughout the process, like, remember, this is a continuous journey. So how do you continue to stay on your feet? Find people who have gone ahead of you that you can ask questions so that can offer great advice. So, you have a guide throughout the way. You're not on your own. I think that's really helpful. And, there's a lot of things that we don't know. There's a lot of things that I did not know going through this, my, undergraduate and then graduate program, and just having someone to like mentor me along the way or help me out. That was really helpful. So that's one thing I had to add to everything.
Thank you, Cynthia.
I'll ask my question. So my question was, you guys talked about a lot of stuff today, but let's say I'm an international student. This is my first semester at UH. Can you give me a step-by-step process of what I need to do, maybe freshman year, sophomore year, so that I can position myself to later or in the future have an internship with a global company like Exxon, Shell, Schlumberger, like that?
So one thing I would say is building yourself up. It all starts by being, how can I say, involved on campus. So first things, just visit the career services. So that would be your number, your first starting point. Go to the career services and attend some of the seminars they have. Just by being there, you will hear things that you didn't know, and you will start opening your mind. Hey, there's this thing that I need to know. Hey, there is a engineering career service. There is a career fair coming up. Go to the career fair. It doesn't matter if it's your first semester, just go there. At least you will learn one thing, the things that you don't know or the things that you don't have. you know, and from there, you will start pursuing the things that you need to have. It has happened to me, and it has happened to many people here. You know, I remember going there first time and I was like, wow, I don't have this. Where did you do that? You know, and people were like, just looking at me, where you came from, you know? But at least from that experience, I knew the things that I need to work on. Second thing, you know, get involved on campus, you know, be a tutor, get a leadership position. You know, the things you do on campus leads you to internship, and internship leads you to full-time, you know? By taking a research position on campus, for example, it helps you, you know, to showcase something you did for internship. The experience you have for internship will lead you to full-time. You know, just step by step, go to a professional org, you know, to one of the body meetings, and you'll hear so many things that, you know, it will open up your mind. So those are some of the things I would say, you know, just get involved on campus.
Yeah, just I mean, I have to agree with Elder, and those are really important points. You just start by asking, just find someone that can help you. It's also a good idea. Just if you go to NASB, find a mentor. If you go to any org, just find someone that can actually help you. And don't be afraid to apply for jobs. I'm a freshman, I don't have anything. Just apply. You're gonna grow through this experience. So I mean, you might get some no's or some denials, but you do have to know that this is what allows you to grow. So just apply for those jobs. Just try to on the interviews. It's always good to ask the interviewer, how can I improve? Whenever I finish my interviews, I always ask them, how can I improve? What is that you think I should, what are your feedback for me to improve, or things that I should, or that I did well and things that I didn't do that well. So it's always good for you to find, this is the improvement moment. So as you start your education or your major, whatever, you just have to find ways to grow, ways to actually get to a better version of yourself. So find a mentor, try to find leadership opportunities, try to find a job if you can. Those, sometimes we kind of neglect the job, the on-campus job. It does give you some responsibility, it does give you some skills that you have, that you're going to be able to carry on and take it to your internship or to your full-time. So find some things that you can do that you're going to be able to grow and learn from it, and then it's going to be applicable to your to your future internship. And at the end of your first year or your freshman year, make sure you start applying. Or even while you're on your freshman year, make sure you start applying. And the research is a good thing, as Eldo just said. I've heard about people that on their freshman year, they participated on research. Since sometimes the companies don't hire freshmen for internships, make sure you go for a research opportunity. It's really great, it looks great on your resume as a freshman. Having a research is gonna be helpful for you whenever you start looking for internships.
Yeah, just to add to what Rosa said, like just stay active. I remember like the summer of my freshman year, my friend at A&M, like we were looking for like internships together, and in my mind I'm like, I'm a freshman, I have time. And I remember that summer he coupled up with seniors, and they built like, what did they build? They built something, was it a drone or a camera or something? And by the fall he was talking about doing career fairs. Like they were engaged because he did something, he had something to talk about, and I was just here like, I'm a sophomore, I have time. And that actually landed him a co-op, I think 2 co-ops at Tesla. So I mean, you do something, like even if it's like research or something. I remember I used to be very pissed about the fact that I had to do research. Do something so you have something to talk about. Don't wait till your sophomore year and then start looking for things to talk about. If you have something to talk about at the end of your freshman year, sophomore year, you're gonna have like things to talk about with your recruiters, and just show that, you know, you've been doing stuff.
And just another thing, it goes back again to the responsibility we have as international students, you know, just to reach out to other international students and share our experience. Even if they don't ask, if you see an international student that is a freshman, you know, just reach out and start speaking to them. You'll be surprised of how many things they don't know, and you'll be able to share with them. Because when you don't know something, you don't even know what questions to ask. You know, but if we having the experience reach out to these people, it's kind of easier for them to open up their eyes, and it will be helpful. And another thing I would say, for people here looking for job, including myself, of course, being a full-time right now, if you're applying for mechanical engineering position, let's say, and you see open position for electrical engineering, for example, just let your fellow international student know, because it can help to save a lot of time. I know NASB usually has a group meeting. Yeah. So just post the links there, if you see, hey, this company is hiring for this particular position and they're accepting international, just post there and you help your fellow international student.
Thank you.
To add to that, I would just say that I think some other people have mentioned, go to the University Career Services office. They know what they're doing. Go to them and they'll help you out. Nobody started off knowing like everything. You're not gonna know all the right questions to ask and all that kind of stuff. And one of the reasons why sharing our knowledge as international students who have passed through it and gotten jobs, gotten internships, all that kind of stuff. The reasons why it's really important is because for me personally, my college were not very easy for me, and I don't want people's journeys to be difficult. So my grad school years are better. University of Houston, it was a better experience for me personally, and that's because I actually try to use all the resources that were at my disposal. I went to the University Services office. I went to events. I did all that kind of stuff. So I would also say try going to conferences, and there are really popular conferences that people go to. For me, I saw some conferences that they didn't have the students options, like they don't have the student prices and stuff like that. For a lot of all those other bigger conferences, their budgets, you actual student pricings, and you have scholarships and things like that. So if you see something that you really like, and they might not, and there's no student pricing or anything, don't be afraid to email them. That's what I did. I emailed them. I actually ended up going, and the package that they gave me was the equivalent of the package that people who paid $3,000 plus, actually had. So I spent $150, of my money, and went and I got a very, very intense, very, very great experience. I networked with people who were leaders in the industry and all that kind of stuff, and I made really good connections from there. So always try to go out of your way and do what you can. Ask questions. People have been really, really kind to me in my journey. Reach out to people. People are there to help. If they don't respond, that's okay. But there's some people who genuinely want to help you out. Go to seminars, research, do your own research, join groups, do what you have to do, and just try as much as possible to stay connected on campus. Go to their activities, do the things that you have to do to meet people, to network with people. And these people will help you in your journey. You don't have to know everything. Come in freshman year and you know everything to do. No, these are the things that help you out as a freshman, sophomore, wherever stage you are in your journey. These things will help you out, definitely. So just keep an open mind and try as much as you can to be as connected as possible. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Someone who's left the meeting they would like to know. They said when talking to a recruiter, can I mention something I did in high school, but not mention that I did it in high school, so they don't know it was high school.
I think you can.
That's a bit specific. That's very specific. I think what I'd say is that kind of go back to what Ayo said. Is it relevant to what that company does and to the particular role you're targeting within that company? If it is, then bring it up. I mean, come on. If someone had to go to college to learn how to build a toy car, for instance, and you did it in high school, that's a big plus, right? But it's only big plus mostly if it is relevant to that company or to the particular role you're pursuing. So I'd say that's probably the first thing to keep in mind, not that I did it in high school or college. If it's relevant, bring it up, be confident and speak about it. So that's personally, that would be my opinion.
Thank you. That's really good. So questions. Yeah.
Okay, I had one last thing to something to say about the question on if this were was my freshman year, what would I do? So like everyone said, key thing is to be prepared, right? Go to UCS events. Try to get as much information as you can. Resumes, interviewing, networking. The other thing that I like telling international students is that they should be aware that the system here will be different. Okay, to be different from what you know, what you're used to back home, wherever you're coming from. So you need to, as much as possible, attend these events to get information. I did not know that the handshake was very important. I mean, the first time I was telling me, I was like, a handshake? Seriously? Okay, I didn't know a handshake. I didn't know that dining etiquettes were like something crucial. I didn't know if phone interviews. So there are so many things that are different. Even the looking someone directly into the eye. So there are different cultural there are so many cultural differences that mean a different thing in the American system than they do in wherever you're coming from. So you need to get yourself out there as much as possible to learn about those differences. The other, like Jose said, like reach out to people as well on LinkedIn, here in school, your seniors as well. Like anyone you're free to speak to. Try to get some information as well. The last thing I would say is, so this is something that I do. I tell people and they think it's a joke. Like, I'm a student here, I have very meager income, but I keep a fraction of my income every month for some kind of self-development. So it can be like paying to go to a professional meeting outside of campus. It can be like paying for LinkedIn Premium, so I can take some LinkedIn courses. Okay, so I do that. Sometimes it costs me, but I know what I'm aiming for. I know what I'm shooting for. Okay, so I do that. If I go to conferences as well, like, and most of these conferences, they have professional courses. So one thing we do is we go there, we volunteer for those conferences as students, and they usually give us like free attendance to those professional courses. Okay, then the other thing again I do at conferences is, there's one big advantage I tell students that COVID-19 actually brought to us. Okay, let me explain something briefly. This is how within Shell, I was told this is how their recruitment works. So the positions are, the request for interns or full-times are made by, say, managers or teams, right? Okay, let's say within our team, like, okay, we feel like we're short of a mech-E or a petroleum engineer, and with this particular set of skills, right? So we are identify like, okay, we are short of this, or we need someone that knows about this breakthrough technology that we're trying to adopt, or probably do not know about. And then they send that role out to the HR. Then the HR goes out to like look for, okay, we're looking for interns, and these are the specific skills we want. Now, the good thing that COVID did for us is that there has been a lot of webinars. I get it's like, it's exhausting, but the good thing about the webinars is that people that you probably would never get to hear from, you get to hear from them now. Like people that would literally say no to a lot of offers to come give a talk or something, you get to hear from them now. So for me, for instance, as a petroleum engineering graduate student, like I'm looking out for, okay, where is the chief engineer in Shell or Chevron or Exxon? Oh, they're giving a speech here. Okay, I want to go. I want to attend. I want to tune into that. I want to attend that webinar. When I attend that webinar, what am I looking for? Again, I'm looking because I'm definitely going to have questions. But the other thing I'm doing is that I'm picking out skills that they're kind of spilling. Like in the course of their speaking, they kind of spill out like, okay, these are technologies. This is something that we actually are looking out for. This is something we are planning to go into. This is something that we're building. This is something that we're working on currently. Because I know that if they are planning to go into that or they're working on that currently, then they're going to be hiring for that. And that's the easy way that I craft my personal career strategy. Like, okay, I can see everyone is on like data science or analytics right now. Can I take a class on it on campus? No. Okay, but there's Coursera, free. There's Udemy, 10, 15 bucks, right? So I start looking at, okay, where can I like do something to patch up to cover that skill, or can I do a class project that would showcase that particular skill? So I just kind of start building myself, because I tell most students that it's, especially us international students, you have to understand your industry, understand what they want, understand what they're looking for. That is what recruiters will be asking for when they come on campus. That is what they'll be looking out for. I saw a role that BP advertised for. It was like they were just listing different types of neural networks for internships, and I was just laughing because I'd listened in on some of these sessions from BP engineers, and they were speaking of different things they were doing on those: database management, cloud engineering. Shilombeji advertised is coming to career fair. Like, they have so many roles. I think like 80% of those roles, even if they're engineering roles, they are tied to IT. They have software development, they have cloud engineering, they have machine learning engineering. And these are all things that they have been saying at different conferences. Oh, we want to move all of our data to the cloud. The moment you hear that, what do I think? Okay, they're going to need people that are skilled in data and people that have some level of information on cloud. So these are little things that will set you apart, because by the time your resume is being run through the ATS, let's say they're looking for engineers, and okay, let's just see if anyone has cloud engineering on their resume. So your resume gets ranked to the top, and then when someone is looking at it like, oh, okay, oh, this guy knows this guy. So it's things as easy as that. During my internship, I was speaking to my direct supervisor, and he told me something. He said, like, one of the reasons that their team, their team, I guess I'm no longer there, their team requested for me specifically, was that they looked at my resume and they said that, oh, okay, he knows reservoir engineering, okay, check. He knows pressure transient analysis, check. Oh yes, he knows how to code. He knows Excel VBA, he knows Python. Exactly the kind of project we need someone for right now, check. Okay, so again, there's definitely God factor, right? But there's a lot that you as a person can also do. And that is to try to know the industry, know what they are speaking about, know what one is talking about, because they are definitely going to hire for it. That's bottom line. They will hire for it. So that I guess would be my advice to anyone out there. Thanks.
Thank you. I think like we're rounding up. So does anybody have like any quick question from the people that are left? Does anybody have any quick questions? I think we covered a lot. Like, people are like messaging me about the feedback of the event. So thank you all for coming. I don't think there's any questions. So thank you so much. Like, our panelists, like my people who attended are messaging me about like how good this event was. So I'm really, really happy. Thank you all so much. So that is the end of our events. Y'all don't forget to sign in. But yeah, thank you all so much for attending. Really. And y'all don't forget to go visit UH Career Services, see what they have. I think Aya dropped her email on their day site. Connect with everybody. Like, these are resources. These are good resources we need. So yeah, thank you all so much.
All right, thank you so much. It was nice seeing everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take
care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
I learned a lot as well. Bye.
Bye.
Rissa, you chilling?
No, I'm leaving.
Right, what was that?
Edmund, that was actually good. We did good work.
Stop recording first.
Oh, give me a second.
Oh, we're supposed to take a picture of everybody. Yeah, I forgot.
No, I took a picture.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, Arafat. You did really well.
You killed it. You seasoned it. Did you stop recording?
I mean, you're so cool. You seasoned it. Right, Larry.